podcast with Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. My name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Season 7, Episode 18, episode number 288. How's it going?
It's going.
It goes.
Every single time we do this, I ask myself, every time we do this on an election night, I'm like, why do we do this on an election night? The worst was when we did it on Super Tuesday in March 2020, and I literally had to edit out an entire storyline of me crying over Elizabeth Warren's loss.
Oh,
and then a week later, it being totally old news because everybody promptly dropped out, and then the whole story changed. And I was like, well, this didn't age well. Woo, good times.
But to be fair, I have been so stressed all day. This is actually a welcome distraction from like doom scrolling or whatever other non-productive things I could be doing.
Yes.
This is a good place to funnel that energy right now. So I'm glad we are here.
Good. And I did promise earlier, and I'm going to really, really, really try my best to not doom scroll while we record like I do every single year that we do this. And, yeah, not freak everybody out. Anyway, we are joined.
I think we can also just assume that we should assume that we should all be freaked out. We can assume it's going to be bad. That's sorry, what I'm trying to. That's my doom talking. Okay. Anyway, moving along.
Moving along. So we are joined tonight by the fabulous Melody Simpson. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. You know. Overall sense of dread and doom.
Here we all hanging out on the precipice.
Yeah.
Super hoping that this doesn't age well either. Anyway, how's it going, Melody?
I am doing well. I just got back from a state that shall not be named because they don't wear masks for a wedding. And my cousin got married, so that was really exciting. And now I'm back home resting, and I'm not thrilled that I have to go back to work tomorrow. but I'm happy that I at least have a job now. So,
Hooray! Yeah, I understand that. We were talking about last week that rest day and the benefit of having half weeks.
yes.
Oh, yes.
Which is being put to the test in North Carolina, or at least in Wake County this week, because schools were closed today for a teacher workday. There's early dismissal on Thursday, and then they're closed for Veterans Day on Friday. So 50% in-class attendance this week. It's going to go great.
Oh, my goodness.
I took a half day today, and we took Zachary to the movies. We saw Black Adam. It was fun.
How was it?
It was fun. It was messy, but it was fun because the characters were good. I don't really know what I was trying to think of what I could compare it to. Like, I guess a Marvel movie would be like the best bet to compare it to, but I couldn't figure it out because it was like much better than the Eternals.
Okay. Wow.
I liked it better than the Eternals. They also there's a scene where there's a flashback of Dwayne Johnson's character when he's not like Black Adam, and they digitized him to make him look like all skinny and meek, and I was very like, wow, it just looks so weird. I was very distracted by that.
That was even out. I completely forgot that was in theaters.
Yeah, it's a nice 2 hours, which
With
is
a child.
with a child, but he was okay. He raked leaves to earn his own small thing of popcorn today.
Oh,
my gosh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
Also, I have not heard of this movie, like not even a little bit.
oh wow.
So it's a
I
DC
feel
movie.
like I've been under a rock, which is not
No.
like something I normally. Yeah.
The only reason that I've heard of it is because I saw a preview at the last movie that I went to. So don't feel too bad.
Okay.
But I also do kind of live under a rock, so I don't know, maybe.
Well, The Rock was in it.
Right. That's why it's like, okay, this is unacceptable that I haven't even heard of this movie. This is like, big like a. Is The Rock is A-list, right? He's up there. He's like a household name. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I have not heard of this movie.
He's in one of my favorite family action adventure movies of all time, Jumanji 2.
That's true. You do love that movie.
That was a good movie.
I
have
love
not seen
the
it.
Jumanji remakes, and I love the second one even better than the first one.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't even realize there were multiple Jumanji remakes.
I hope that it's like Jurassic Park and the sequels of that franchise never die, because I love them all. Has Jack
Yeah,
Black in it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Much better than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best. I love it when a movie, like, you have very low expectations and it ends up being a really good time. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
couldn't like life just be like that?
That's kind of the way to
all
do it
the
with this
time.
election. Low expectations.
That's
Very
fair.
low.
Yeah, let's
Very low.
hope. Let's hope.
Okay, I think I figured it out what the problem with it is, and I don't think I'm being spoilery. Okay, so if you don't know, I only learned about the history of the character really today. So it's in the same universe as the DC universe, but like Shazam. So if you guys saw Shazam, Melody, have
not,
you seen
but I have
Shazam?
heard of that one.
Okay,
Yes, that was good.
I liked it
That
too.
was a
but
music app.
You know, like the elder gods that like give them the power, like the Shazam.
Yes.
So they're in it, and they like
Okay.
give him his power. Which one? Then I was like, okay, I think I need to rewatch Shazam because it's been like a good 3 years since I've seen it. But yeah, so it's kind of very much ties into that universe. But I guess the character was originally an anti-hero foil to the character Shazam. But he wasn't introduced. Like, Shazam's not in this movie. Viola Davis is, what's the Suicide Squad? The other one, Justice League.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Titans.
No,
Justice League is like Batman and Superman and
it was something
Right.
Justice something, but it didn't have all the big characters in it. It had like the more like side ones. Anyway, so they're in it too, and they kind of play like the foils to him, where like it's like you want him to be a good guy, but they're trying to make him be like a bad boy god thing happen, and until like the end, it's kind of just like messy getting there, but I still enjoyed it, and there's like I said, the characters are fun, so, and there's plenty of comic relief, as one does.
Well, that sounds good. I've had such a one-track mind with like, I can't wait till Friday. I can't wait till Black Panther. Like, that's the only movie in my mind for like this.
Oh, because Black Panther comes out on Friday.
Yeah, so I did want to see Black Adam, but I just completely forgot about it.
Or Wakanda Forever is the sequel's name, right?
I'll have to. I'll have to. I might actually make it a double feature because ain't nobody gonna see that on Friday.
That's true.
ooh, treat yourself.
Oh, but girl, you gotta leave like 6 hours.
It's true. I'm sure Wakanda Forever is probably not.
I think it like clocks in at like 3 hours and 20 minutes, something crazy like that.
Plus, like the trailers, it was gonna be half an hour for that.
Yeah.
And it's a Marvel movie, so you gotta sit through all of the credits to make sure you don't miss anything.
Oh,
That's
my
true.
goodness.
So what you have to do is you have to time it so there's like a half-hour overlap from when
Yes.
Wakanda Forever starts, so that way you miss the 20 minutes of trailers. You've got like 5 minutes to pee, and then you just like walk right in as they're like, you know, the do 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 do
That would be
do.
amazing.
I've done this before.
We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, but I'm actually going to be driving to Long Island on Friday through a tropical storm, so it's going to be awesome.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not going to get to see it until next weekend, which is okay because I feel like, you know, once the crowds died down, it might be a little bit better. Although, oh my God. So this couple came in as the movie was starting today, and they sat like, because there was people in the theater. It wasn't empty, but it wasn't totally full. So there was like 2 seats in between us, or there was 1 seat in between, and I asked the woman, I was like, you know, my purse is here. Is it cool if I keep it here? She's like, okay, yeah, these are our seats. But I went up to go to the bathroom. When I came back, the dude was straight up just like back in his chair, completely asleep. I thought it was so funny.
Nap time.
She was awake and enjoying it, but I thought that was so funny. I was like, I guess I see who picked this It was really funny. Anyway, did everybody have a good week? Other than, I know you went to a really super awesome wedding.
Yeah, I had a good week, I guess. I was very excited. I was kind of counting down the days and hours until I was off so I could go to the wedding. And it was actually the first out of state trip for it was me, my mom, my sisters, and my older sister, she and her husband have a nephew. He's 4 and he has epilepsy. So he has a service dog. And it was the first trip that we went out of state with the dog as well.
Oh, wow.
So that was interesting. He did so well, and we were kind of nervous. You know, you never know how things go traveling, but all went well, and it was nice. The weather held up. It did start to drizzle a tad. The wedding was outside, and everybody was a little nervous, but the cloud went quickly the other way, so that was nice. Places averted. My cousin was freaking out wherever she was, but luckily all was well. So yeah, I had a once the vacation started, I had a great week.
Awesome.
Nice. I voted. Finally, I had my absentee ballot that, they sent me a couple weeks ago that I was like so annoyed about the 2 witnesses or a notary.
Oh.
So we took on Saturday, we took our ballots to early voting. So I am thankful for the early voting system. That's great. And we had them in our hands. I didn't know how it worked, what we're supposed to do with them. But so we stood in line. The whole process probably took us an hour. Honestly, I've never had to wait to vote before. That was the first time. But yeah, so I guess there was either good turnout or just a really slow moving line. But so we get up there and I'm explaining so I have my ballot, and I actually had started filling it out at one point just to remember who I wanted to vote for, and I marked somebody that I then changed my mind about for one of the local things. So I legitimately also had, messed it up. I would have needed to get a new ballot anyway. And so I'm explaining this to them, and the guy who's checking me in is oh, that's fine. We'll print you out this and that. We'll authorize this ballot and blah, blah, blah. And I'm so what do I do with this? And he's oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm trying to I'm thinking I should be giving it to somebody. He's it's fine. It's fine. So I'm okay, whatever. So I have my stuff. I get my new ballot. I go fill it out. I go to the woman who's standing next to the machine to put it in. And I'm hey, so I still have this absentee ballot that was messed up. What do I do with it? Because I don't want to
right.
I feel I'm not, I don't want to have an extra ballot in my possession.
Yeah.
Super sketchy. And then
the good news is you're not in Florida, so.
Well, this woman was wait, you had a second ballot on the floor? That's illegal. You can't. And I was
Oh my
dude,
goodness.
I tried. I told the guy. She was you should have told the person when you checked. I did. She told me it was fine. It's can I give it to you? And she was yeah. So she took it, and I left. It was just oh my God, I'm just I was trying to do the right thing.
Literally looking for someone to take this from me and destroy it. We're on the same team, lady.
I was not trying to have 2 ballots on the floor, but so we voted. Yay.
Well, at least now you know for next year.
Now I know for next year. And that's the thing is because in California at this point, I would have been signed up to absentee vote for the rest of my life, right?
Yeah.
I just did it once and then you don't have to do it again. But I remember when I did it this time here that it said specifically that this is only for this election. And I was that's really weird. And now I'm okay, well, because I won't be absentee voting ever again, I'll just do the early voting.
Yeah.
And I guess that's fine.
Early voting is fine though. I wanted to early vote, and then when we went to go on Friday, Zach was really but I want to vote on election day with you guys. So, and Jay is kind of old school like that too. So I was fine, but we have to make sure that we're there, either early so I'm not late to work, or we'll do it after. And then, so last night, I was hey guys, we got to make sure that we're out of the house by 7:30. I want to make sure there's plenty of time. So we're all going to get up at 6:30. And, at 6:30, it was literally just me and Zachary that were let's go vote. And Jay was like, come back at 7.
Oh, that's adorable.
He literally was like, wake me back up at 7. And Alex was up until like 11 o'clock last night because the time change has him all thrown off with everything. So I was like, fine, we'll let him sleep. But thankfully, so we ended up getting there at a few minutes after 8, which was fine. And we walked right in. We were, so polls open here at 6:30 and we got there at 8 and we were voters 213 and 214. So in 90 minutes, 200 people had already been there.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, that's kind of awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And I know early voting did pretty well here as well. So yeah, good turnouts.
I will say though, also another thing that I had never experienced before was, I mean, I know like you can't campaign within, is it like 100 feet of voting?
Yeah.
Whatever Well, they took that right up to like the limit. It was very weird because it was very close to the door that we were still getting people like passing stuff out and very vocally, like there was an actual candidate there. And I thought that I was voting for her. I like hadn't realized that she was in a different district, but she was like giving us our spiel, and I was like, "Oh yeah, wait, like you have her vote, like yeah." And then I realized she was in a different district.
In spirit, you have our vote in spirit, not in actuality, because we can't.
Well, this morning there was this man. So we went like by the poll people, and we're like. A lot of it was city council races and whatnot, and we just don't have votes for that, right? Because we're not in the city of Raleigh, which sucks because their decisions literally affect what happens directly outside of our neighborhood, where they might like have to close the road and create a new entrance and tear down trees and build like a 4-story apartment building, blah, blah, blah. And it's our neighborhood, but we have no say in the people that are like going to vote for that to pass or not. Which
This is like ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Isn't there a way you can petition the city to
expand their boundaries?
Right. Like
my neighbors
would find whoever district you're right up against and like just
my neighbors would be really mad though because they don't pay city tax. So that whole like $30 that you save a year is like super worth it to some of them. But anyway, there was this man whose wife was running, and we actually did have her on our ballot, and it was so adorable. But we saw him second. So first, like we go through, and like they're like, "Can you take these?" And I was like, "Yeah, let the kids take them. That's part of the fun, right?" And like the person, so it was all like kind of older people, but there was this like one younger guy, and he was like, "Can I interest you in the Republican endorsements?" And Jay just looks at him, and he's like, "Nope."
No, thank you. Go ahead.
So then this like older woman comes up like right behind him, and she's like, "Would you like the Democrat one?" And he was like, "Yep." It was really funny. So we voted, and then this man was standing off to the side, and he had cut out like a piece of cardboard or maybe cardstock paper, and he had handwritten in Sharpie, like it was here, and he was like on his chest, he's like, "Ask me about my wife." So we were like, "Oh, who's your wife?" And he said who his wife was, and I glanced at thankfully I still had the like Democrat endorsement ones on my thing, because I thought that we had voted for her, but I wanted to make sure. So like I looked down and I was like, "Yeah, we just voted for her." He was like, "Oh, thank God. She told me I can't come home until I get her enough votes at." It was so cute. And we were like, "Well, we're going to help you go home tonight." And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "And celebrate." It was really cute. It was fun. But yeah, adorable. It was really adorable. He was just standing off to the side, like not with a group of people, just with a little, like, "Ask me about my wife" sign. It was really cute.
Sometimes there can be good stories.
Yeah. So anyway, good times. Before we move on to talking about melanin in YA, Melody, I have to ask you, since we are a cat-friendly podcast, how is your kitty cat?
She is doing so well.
Good.
She'll be 2 in April.
Oh.
And it's hysterical because I got her birthday. I celebrated her birthday the wrong day this year because I only looked at her like information like twice. I got her in January, February or something, and I assumed it was April 4th, but it was April 24th or something. So next year I'll actually celebrate it on her real birthday. But
Aw.
anyway, when I came back, she was meowing for me. She was very upset that I was gone, very excited that I was back.
Aw.
And that's coming a long way for her because in the beginning she would hide from me underneath the couch, would not come near me, would hiss. She got me good one time. I tried to give her some chicken, and I'm a vegan, and I ordered fresh chicken for her, and she got me. She scratched me pretty good on my finger, and so we've come a long way.
I'd say so.
I was telling them that you have this like 2-year-long running Twitter thread where you just post updates about the cat.
Yeah, like how do I adopt a cat? Because I really don't know how to do that. Because all the animals that we've ever had have always been like gifted to us, or
Oh,
they
really?
were sheltered, or like sheltered in that they were sheltered before, and somebody in a group of friends got like they got a surprise, like, oh, we just adopted this cat and they had babies. And I'm like, oh well, we'll take them. Or like my grandmother, our first round of cats was actually one cat that ended up getting pregnant, having kittens. She was one of the cats that my grandma just fed. And so that was our family cat for about 17 years until she passed away. And so it's just weird how we just randomly get cats or just animals. Just luckily we've been able to get them all for free, I should say. And so I was like, well, how do you go about this the real way? And so I finally adopted Bird. I named her Bird because I love birds, but I didn't want a bird. Right.
That makes sense.
So I had a bird in elementary school, and I realized, wow, they talk too much for me. I ended up giving the bird away to my aunt, which is hysterical. I was like, this bird never shuts up. I'm already annoyed. I think I had that bird for less than a year. I was over it. But anyway, so yeah, Bird is good. I got her on Pretty Litter. I feel like this is not interesting, but for anybody who likes cats, I switched from Fresh Step to Pretty Litter, and I'm very happy that I made that choice.
We are very cat positive here, so
It's true.
So yeah, that's my little journey with her. I'm running out of wet food, and I'm down to the wet food that she doesn't like. She does not like beef.
Oh.
So I'm gonna have to go to the store and get some more cat food. It looks at me like I'm crazy. But yeah, so I give her dry food in the morning and then wet food at night. And I usually play with her when I come home from work or before work, depending on when I'm working that day. And I have not played with her since I came back. I've just been so exhausted. I don't want to do anything. So she's been meowing at me, and I'm just like, leave me alone. Let me sleep. But yeah, I do need to play with her soon because, I mean, I put on Cat TV on YouTube, those little 8-hour videos.
What?
And I have to, sometimes when I'm out there, I have to be like, Bird, stop. Because she'll jump up on the TV stand and then she'll like touch. And as soon as she touches a little too hard, the whole screen. And I'm like, okay, no. I mean, I know Black Friday's coming up, but I'm not trying to buy another TV.
That's real.
So yeah. Me and Bird are doing well.
I'm so happy to hear that. I remember your rocky start. You're like, this cat will not come out and talk to me.
It was, I think it wasn't until like month 5 or 6 that she actually started even just
That is
looking at me and sitting next to me. Like, it was a long, I'm patient. definitely a lesson in patience for sure. Because I was like, "Ugh, this is not my experience. Another thing is, this is my first time ever having an animal that's only indoors because all of our animals have always been outdoor pets. So I like to joke that I did not think this through because I didn't realize that I would have to have an animal in my face 24/7. I'm also getting used to that too. So yeah, it's an adjustment for both of us.
Like all good relationships are.
It's kind of like having a child, except this one just meows at you.
Yeah. And then my nephew, we're in the same apartment complex, me, my mom, and my sister. And so my sister and brother-in-law and nephew are on the other side of the complex. And every now and then they'll come over to our side, and every now and then I'll go over to their side. But I can always come back to my home alone without a child. So that's wonderful.
Truly. Considering one of the Zachary will just say, Alexa, play the Muppets, and he'll go through. Actually, Alex does it now too.
That's not a bad. That's like there's so many worse things.
But it's been like a year of this now at this point, and I can hear directly above me, am I a man or am I a Muppet?
I would rather that. Do you know how many times I sing Wheels on the Bus?
Fair enough. I remember
There's
those
a dog
days.
on the bus now. I've run out of verses. There's now a dog on the bus. Sometimes there's a horse on the bus because you just run out of verses.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I've gone a few times to pick him up with my sister after daycare or whatever it's called. And every time we have to play this, it's only one song, this one Paw Patrol song, the whole way home.
Is it the theme song? Paw Patrol, Paw Patrol,
yes.
be there on the double whenever they're in trouble. Round Adventure Bay, Ryder and his team of pups come to save the day. Okay, yeah.
And it's such a short song, so just that.
Yeah, it's like
hopefully
a
it's
minute
a short
long.
drive home.
It's like 10 minutes.
Oh gosh, I am sorry. You are a great aunt.
Sometimes she'll be like, "Can we switch it up? Can we listen to Moana?" He'll say, "No, I don't want to." And then she'll turn to Moana, and then he'll start singing. So
yeah, sometimes you just got to do it.
Yeah.
They want their own agency, but also they're goldfish. So just do it.
We got him to watch The Little Mermaid for the first time. Like, I think it was a week and a half ago, and he does not like the lady with the legs. That's what he said. Like, she's scary. So that's where we're at now.
Oh my god. We watched Coco last week in honor of
So good.
Zachary, though, Riff was like, no, it's so scary. So we were like, fine, you can sit in your room. And he did. I thought we were calling his bluff. He sure did the whole movie. And I did my usual sobbing hysterically at the end. But anyway, speaking of good times, before we move on, quick announcement. We are off next week, but the following week, November 22nd, we'll be live over Zoom for our annual Broadsgiving, and we hope that you guys will join us. Broadsgiving is one of my favorites.
It's one of my favorites to listen to every year. I love it.
Well, we hope you can maybe join us this year.
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh, I'm going to do it. And then I forget.
It's in 2 weeks. Go get your phone, put a reminder in your phone. We will wait.
Or just ask Mandy too.
Oh, yeah, just ask Mandy. Mandy's the queen of reminders.
Got you. Yeah, she's good at that.
Also, if you wake up and you're like, oh, today is the 11/22/64 day.
Oh, yes.
You'd be like, oh my god, it's also Broadsgiving. You're
sure,
welcome.
that's a thing someone would say, I'm sure.
She's into pop culture and TV like I am. I knew she'd get it.
I got the reference.
Yeah, see? So
I'm
if you
guessing
wake
it's
up...
lost.
TV and pop culture, and I don't get the reference.
So if you wake up in 2 weeks and you magically think of James Franco for some reason, just... the TV show, the Hulu show, based on the Stephen King book.
It's really good. It's only like, what, 6 episodes? It's short.
Yeah.
Wait,
It's
what?
about a guy that wants to try to stop... He goes back in time and he wants to try to stop the JFK shooting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
It's from like
I didn't watch
6
it,
or
but I do
7
remember-
years ago.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you now. Okay.
Yeah. He wasn't bad. And also, a brief correction to last week. Turns out Alaska Daily is weekly. So I got to episode 4 and was like, where's the rest of them?
Oh, no.
And then promptly regretted. I was like, why? I hate waiting. I have to wait to binge it. So then Jay's dad was here this weekend from Washington State, and he was like, oh, you watch Alaska Daily too? I'll watch it with you. So that's what we did when Jay was doing Geek Dad Life on Sunday. I was like, you have fun YouTubing. We're going to watch our old people show. And we did. So anyway.
Nice.
All right. Melody. So a lot of, as you probably have figured out by now, a lot of broadcast fans, our listeners, are very into reading. They're constantly giving us suggestions, and we thought that you could tell us a bit about the website and give us some great suggestions too.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Melanin and YA is basically, if I could say it in a way for other people to understand as easy as possible, it's IMDb Pro, but for books, specifically Black books. So if you're looking for a young adult YA, a young adult book written by a Black author, or if you're a writer looking for a Black literary agent, if you're a librarian or an event coordinator looking for Black people in the publishing industry for young adult, you can just go to melaninya.com and all that information is there. And I also have Shop Melanin YA, which if you want a shirt or a hat or a tote or anything like that you want to help promote the mission of Melanin YA, which is basically just to spread awareness of Black YA lit, because a lot of people think that it doesn't exist or it's not accessible or whatever they want to say so that they can erase the Black YA work that's out there. This is basically a no excuse database for all of that. It's all in one place, so nobody can say that you didn't know, because I'm telling you right now. And that's basically what that is. So yeah, I also have a whole list of all of the Black YA books that came out this year, all of the Black YA books that are coming out next year, and so on. There's an alphabetical list of the Black YA authors. There's a list by region, so you know who is a Black YA author in your area that you can maybe look out for if they're doing an event near you. And it's pretty endless as far as what else is on there, especially if you're looking for Black social media influencers, whether it's on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, etc. That's all there as well. So yeah, that's Melanin YA. And as far as what to read, I would say there's so many notable titles that released this year. Most recently, since it was Halloween recently, I would probably mention The Undead Truth of Us by Brittany S. Lewis. That is, if you like zombies and you want a zombie influence story, that's the one to go to, I would say. Let's see, what else is.
And while you're thinking, I'll put everything that Melody recommends. I will find it and put it in the show notes too. And maybe Matt, if you're listening, you can update the broadcast book club too.
Also, another author who did a zombie book, but not this year. She has a new book out this year. It's called Rust in the Root by Justina Ireland. She actually also wrote a Star Wars book. I think actually 2 Star Wars books with, I want to say, Tessa Gratt, and I forget what those books are called off the top of my head. But Justina's book by itself is a historical fiction novel called Rust in the Roost. So if you like historical fiction, that would probably be your best bet. Also, another historical fiction that did not come out this year. Oh, the title escapes me, and of course I'll think of it later. So
you can look it up, and I can edit it out too if that makes you feel better.
Circle back.
I would also say there's one author, if you like contemporary books that are very, you come away thinking, what in the world did I just read? One of my favorite authors for that is Stephanie Keene, and she has a new book out called We Weren't Looking to Be Found that came out earlier this summer. I have not yet read it, but she's on my auto-buy list. So anything that she writes, I will read.
Oh, wow.
So Stephanie Keene, I highly, highly recommend. I would also say, as far as contemporary goes, there's another book that it didn't come out yet. It comes out on November 29th, and it's called We Deserve Monuments by Jazz Hammonds. And they're a queer author, and they have a book that deals very heavily with racism in the South. So if that's something that you are interested in reading, I know everybody has their triggers, and it might not be the best time for you to read it right now, but when you're in the mood for that, definitely put that on your list to read. And if you want something a little more uplifting, I would say possibly Right Where I Left You by Julian Winters. That's a queer romance, and his writing is so beautiful. It's just cotton candy. It's just so luscious. I love it. And yeah, so I mean, I could go on and on, but those are just a few.
And feel free to say no. But if I tag you in the post when I post this on Facebook and wherever else, can people, if they're looking for a certain genre and want a recommendation, can they ask you in the comments? Okay.
Totally.
Okay.
I'm down for that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
that was super impressive.
yeah,
It's like, speaking of like the site is an amazing database, but like you are an amazing database.
Yeah.
Like you just cycled through a bunch of books like
I try to
just
be
seamlessly. It was amazing.
I try to have some I will admit, two of those people are my friends, but I do try to be very informed about what's happening and then of course my auto buy Stephanie Keene. I'm always up on whatever she's writing. So it's kind of like my auto buy authors, my friends, and then my most anticipated, whether they've already come out with the book or whether they're just a highly anticipated debut. Those are definitely going to always be in the front of my mind. And then if I don't have those in the front of my mind, then I'm thinking of books that are not in my database, that are not Black YA, which obviously I read wider than Black YA. I read very widely, but I do, since I'm promoting Melanin YA, I do kind of want to stick within that. But if I'm going outside of that, I would say there's a really great middle grade graphic novel called Frizzy by Clarabella Ortega. And they're a Dominican author and Dominican, is that correct? I could be wrong, but they're Latinx author, and their book, Frizzy, follows a middle grade girl who is basically having a lot of issues coming to terms with her hair in the way that society wants her to present herself. It's the book that I really wish that I had when I was a kid, because everybody kept telling me what I needed to do with my hair to look presentable and how I needed to do this and that, and how everybody just has their own idea of how you present to the world. And it's when you're coming into your own, it's kind of like you're fighting against society standards and what you want to stand for. And so those two things come at a head in that novel, and graphic novel, and it's beautiful. I always forget the illustrator's name, because Clarabelle is a friend of mine, and the illustrator, I'm like, oh, this is my friend's book, get it. And then I forget the illustrator's name. But I believe their name is Rosa something. I'm so sorry, I forget her name. But the artwork is beautiful. And it's not just something that you want to hand off to a middle grade kid without reading for yourself, because you can get a lot of great stuff from it for yourself before handing it off. So yeah, maybe get it for someone for Christmas, but also, flip those pages before you wrap it up. And then there's also another close. The thing is, now that I'm in the publishing world, a lot of these people are my friends now.
Yeah.
So that doesn't take away from. I mean, because let's be real, there are some of my friends I don't blend with their writing. Like every book you read, you're not going to blend with. So yeah, I will say my friend this, my friend that. But there are some friends whose writing I just can't click with. They'll never know that. But but I'm not going to go on and 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 say, hey, So just read between the lines there. But another one of my friend's books, Kat Cho, her book is Once Upon a K-Prom. And I think it's out now. Yeah, I think it's out. And that book is so fun because it takes, obviously K-pop has become over the past few years a really big thing here in the States. And her book is so fun because it takes place it follows the girl and the guy who when they're younger, they're best friends. And the guy is like, one day I'll take you to prom. No matter what happens, I'll take you to prom. He moves to Korea. Years later, he becomes the biggest K-pop star ever. And she's back at home like, oh, that's just that's his ex-friend. That's what she's known as back home. But little does she know he's going to come back a month before prom because he has a promise to fulfill.
Aww.
So she takes her to the prom. And so that's it's a feel-good book, but it's also like a lot of emotions and I can't believe you're here. Why are you here? You're also very different than the person that I was friends with before as well. So there's that layer. There's a lot of different layers in that. So that's a wonderful novel as well.
Oh, that sounds so sweet.
That sounds really fun.
So fun, yeah.
I will link to that as well.
Because I was like, okay, so you work in publishing, so like that makes a little bit more sense to me. Because my first question was, when you first got the idea for Melanin and YA, like how did you even go about putting this project together? It's so huge,
expansive.
Yeah, expansive.
The idea came from a great place. The execution came from a manic state. I'll say that.
I was going to ask if you do all of this yourself.
So this was like in June, I believe, June of 2020-ish. A lot of the publishers were coming out with statements about how we support Black voices, blah, 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 blah. This was after George Floyd, all that stuff. So everybody had to pretend that they cared. And so they did that. They put a few Black authors on the New York Times list. I think the most was 6 at one time. That had never happened before for the YA list. And it was just a lot of smoke and mirrors. And so I decided, you know what, let's just create a space where when there's a convention coming up and you only have one Black author on the panel, or if you have 4 Black authors on a panel only to talk about diversity, let's push it up. There's more than the same 5 people that people see all the time over and over and over again. So let's get those names out there so that you can know who these people are. And also there were Black authors who wrote YA before, say, like The Hate You Give. A lot of people, for them, The Hate You Give was the first YA book that they read by a Black author, and that's wonderful. However, we need to give our props to Sharon G. Flake and all the other YA Black authors who were there before. So it's kind of like just a streamline of information in one place so that we can not only say that we support these Black authors, but have a database to back up that support, because I'm also logging the starred reviews that people make, and I'm also making a directory of all of the movie and TV adaptations, as well as the deals, because you can give a person a movie option all day long, but are you actually going to make it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Or are you just going to sit on the IP?
exactly. So I'm tracking the things that people are saying that they will do or support and trying to see if they'll actually come through with that as well. So there's just a lot of information to gather. And I had the idea, I want to say, I had the idea come to me in full, I would say, in the beginning of August of 2020. And it was about 2 weeks later when I kind of just sat down, and 2 weeks kind of flashed before me where I didn't sleep or anything, and I was just working on this. I don't recommend that.
You don't?
Not for everybody.
Not for everybody at all. I definitely had a lot to say about that with my psychiatrist. So, but I did get it done. I'm proud of it. I wouldn't have changed anything. It was a lot, and even after all that stuff that I did within those 2 weeks, there's still so much to do afterwards, and there's still so much to maintain afterwards. So the hope is to eventually get to a place where I can have targeted ads or paid sponsored posts and stuff, so that I can have someone else come on and help me out with this, because a lot of people have offered to help me, but the problem is it's just so much work that I cannot take that help for free. I would feel awful if I did that.
Yeah.
So I definitely need more hands, and I'm hoping that I can expand in the future.
That would be awesome. And the website it's so well organized too.
It really is. It's very clear, and it's just like there's so much. Like there's even like a section of like Black-owned bookstores.
Yes.
Which like that's so wonderfully used. Like there's so much on this site.
Yes, and what I found was there have been lists of Black-owned bookstores in the past, but they don't have the hours, or they don't link to their social medias, and they're not organized by state. And so I just wanted to make it as simple as possible so that people don't really have nowadays a very long attention span. So I just want to get whatever I can get to their faces before they switch the page. So that's the goal, to get as much information that they can get. I also have lists for I am tracking what is being put on the New York Times list, on the hardcover list, paperback list, series list, graphic novel list. I'm tracking everything. And if you know,
it's incredible.
It's so much. It's really incredible.
So much. So yeah, I highly recommend checking it out. And if you do want like a Christmas gift or something to support Melanin YA, definitely go to shopmelaninya.com. That just launched earlier this year. So help me out, please, and buy that merch.
And also, she has a Patreon, so become a patron.
Yes, I do have a Patreon as well. And I believe the highest is only $25 a month. You can get a subscription box where you get 2 YA books and then swag from Black-owned businesses as well within that box. And if you don't necessarily want to do the Patreon, but you do want the subscription box, you can still do that on the side if you go to shopmelaninya.com.
Nice. I saw those subscription boxes and I was like, like ASMR. See, we're all coming back. Right? Do an unboxing. Quietly.
I really like that you even feature like bookstagrammers and podcasts and stuff too.
Yeah, I really wish that the podcast lists were longer, but it's just unfortunate that they don't get the support that a lot of other people get. And even the YouTube list is not. Oh, don't get me started. Okay. I'm talking here.
Booktubers?
So I don't remember if I mentioned this before. I may or may not have mentioned this when I talked to Jay and Jack a long time ago. But if I didn't, I'm mentioning it again because I'm still that angry about it.
We come full circle because when you talked to Jay and Jack in February 2018, Jay had just gotten laid off And now I'm talking to you, and Jay actually got laid off again from his new job on Friday.
Are
So
you kidding
we do
me?
come full circle. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's
It-
wild.
It is.
Timing?
It's kind of wild.
I don't like. You guys should never speak to me.
No. I didn't mean it like that. I meant hashtag the universe.
To be fair, this conversation was set up way before that happened. So like,
Yeah. Yeah.
not your fault. No, like weird universe thing.
Friday was like a bloodbath in tech for everyone.
Yeah, that is true.
Anyway, I'm sorry. So yes, if you do want to, if you do want to listen to Melody's interview on the Jay and Jack show, it is on the website under the about the founder page, and she links to it. So
It is. And I can't wait to link this one too. I'm so excited. But yeah, so I was just to make it like short and sweet. Many years back, there was a booktube sit down with some influential booktubers who were interviewing Michelle Obama, and none of them were Black. And I'm like, how are you going to invite booktubers to speak to Michelle Obama?
yeah,
And not a single one is Black. And one of them was Canadian. I'm like, come on now. Like, are you kidding me? So yeah, I'm a little still peeved about that many years later.
I would be too. That's crazy.
Slightly unrelated. I have never heard the term booktuber
Me
before,
neither.
and I feel like I need to use it in conversation all the time moving forward. It is my new favorite word.
Bookstagram, yeah.
And book talk.
All out there. All out there.
Yeah.
And in the beginning on TikTok, when book people started making book talk a thing, TikTok would suppress or like hide the content that Black creators were creating. So all you really see is the content from white creators. So
Ugh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually went down the rabbit hole a few months ago. Somebody on Twitter was talking about that, like how the algorithm and whatnot pumps up like the books like Colleen Hoover's books, but doesn't pump up, books of the same like genre and whatnot by like authors of color in general. And I could probably find it too, because I think I liked it. But it was a really interesting and eye-opening read. Because I'm not on TikTok. Like, I have an account and people will send me links to watch things, but I have not actually. I've never sat down and figured out how you TikTok.
Yeah.
So it was like a. Leave me alone. So it was like a.
I mean, you've gone further than me. I have not been able to
Yeah.
those things.
No, I didn't even grab my name to have that as a handle because I no more social media apps. That's mine.
It's a lot.
I'm
It's a
done.
lot. Yeah.
No more.
But anyway,
But sorry.
It was
I digress.
It was a very informative educational experience for me because, I learned about TikTok and algorithms and how apparently the same shit that happens on all the other platforms happens there too.
Yep.
So,
Of course. No one is immune, I guess.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fuck your black squares. How about you just put us in the algorithm?
Yeah, seriously. How about you just fix your algorithm? Your black square does nothing. It actually makes it worse.
It really
let's fix the algorithm.
Yeah. Hold on. I actually just, of course, opened up Twitter, but I have to close it because we are not doing election stuff. So I will have to find who it was. She was an author too. I will have to find it when we are done, even though it is literally killing me. I do know one.
They would have. You've seen it on TikTok, like the tables on when you walk into Barnes and Noble, they would have a TikTok table specifically for books that went viral on TikTok, and of course, none of them would be the Black books because none of them would be able to go viral since they would be hidden. So it's just really unfortunate because social media doesn't necessarily move the needle for every author, but it can. It can break through for some authors. So if you're not giving us even the chance to break through, then that's not cool.
Yeah. I'm just in awe that you do all this on your own.
Me too.
And this is a side gig. This isn't your full-time work.
No, my day job is in retail. Ugh, again. I was actually in an office management position before the pandemic and slightly during the in the middle of the pandemic. I was laid off in the beginning of the pandemic. Then they brought me back, and then they laid me off again because I got COVID, and then I was recovering from COVID. I was like, okay, I'm ready to come back now, and they said, well, we don't need you anymore, and so I got laid off again, and then I was like, okay, well, that's not cool. But I was on unemployment, and a few months went by, and they were like, we can't find anybody like you. Please come back.
Fuck them.
Burn me once.
And so
burn me
I was
twice.
like, you know what? Since I don't have anything up my alley right now, I'm gonna do you, but I'm going to also apply to other jobs.
Yeah.
And so right now I'm back at an old retail company that I used to work for now, because I actually moved to, unfortunately, I moved to North Austin, Texas, not by choice, but just because during the pandemic, when the lease was up, my landlord was trying to do some shady stuff. So I left that situation, and I was not in the mood to do any apartment hunting. And so my family out here, a few of them have jobs at Facebook out here in Austin. So they were like, come here, be with us. And I was like, okay. So I'm here. They keep saying, we're so glad you're here. Now we just need to get Taylor. Taylor's my other sister. She's in Atlanta. They're like, now we just need to get Taylor out here. And I'm like, okay, pump your brakes. I'm not here for permanently, okay? So yeah, I'm just here for now. I don't even know why I'm talking about that.
It's okay. I know who won your governor race.
Oh God, I had that up in a tab and then I went to a different tab.
It's not the way we wanted it to go.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
But it was it was closer than I expected.
No, that's pretty much how I imagined it to be.
Yeah, it was like 47 to 52 or something, which is actually pretty close
That's pretty close.
for Texas.
For Texas, yeah.
Yeah. And Amanda, congratulations.
Never bride.
Congratulations, Chuck Schumer is still your senator.
I was going to say hopeful. Surprise, surprise. Chuck just keeps on going. Daniel got to shake his hand the other day. Did I tell you all that?
No.
Yeah, he was at Flatbush Frolic. You know, local Brooklyn boy. Yeah, like he was there, and Daniel went over, and he got a handshake.
And those last minute votes.
He did his
this would have been like 2 months ago.
So he basically did his annual requirement to shake a hand that didn't involve giving the exact same graduation speech over and over again.
Probably. I mean, it was they closed down the whole street, and there was like, it was like a New York City street fair, but Chuck Schumer was there.
Sweet. Everybody's least favorite press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Okay, see, I shouldn't have opened Twitter because then I went down the rabbit hole. Anyway, she's governor of Alabama, and that is also...
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
What parallel universe do we live in?
She was running like...
qualified to be governor.
You don't have to be qualified.
She was literally running against somebody that was like an actual
disadvantage, apparently.
Yes.
No, she was running against somebody that was like an actual like rocket scientist or something like super smart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Well, that also seems to be the thing, that like these qualified Democrats are running against like potatoes with arms, and still somehow these races are neck and neck.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand.
Back to Melody and I said I wasn't going to do it.
Good,
I have closed it.
Yeah, let's disappear into some good fiction. Give us some more escapist stories.
Yes. More stories. Let's see.
You have any good murder mysteries?
That's a great question. I feel like I know of one that either came out or is coming out. Why am I going? I'm sorry. I'm trying to go to my favorites, and Neopets is coming up instead of Melon and YA. I'm so sorry. Let me go back to my site. I will get back to you on that murder mystery. I'll have that back to you before, well, not before the episode is up, but soon. Let's see. I would say if you like poetry, definitely check out Jason Reynolds. He actually wrote a book with another Jason who's not black, but also very talented.
He's fine.
And
Whatever.
it's called Ain't Burned All the Bright. It's a mix of poetry and art, and
Hmm.
it's just the most incredible and unusual, not even unusual, it's just a beautiful, different format that you would see. And the book is nice and thick and rich, and you could tell that they put money into the presentation of the book. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a coffee table book, but you could put it on your
Yeah.
coffee table.
Okay.
Oh, I love those kind
Sit
of
through
books.
it and read it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I would highly recommend that. I would also want to say, let me see, for fantasy, no, well, for sci-fi, I would say Kosoko Jackson has some great sci-fi. He has two books. He has Yesterday's History, which I believe is time travel, and then Survive the Dome, which came out earlier this year, actually. So if you're, and he writes adult as well. He has an adult queer romance novel
Ooh.
that the name escapes me, but beautiful cover. And yeah, so I would definitely recommend that. And like I'm trying to mention authors that don't also get as much acknowledgement as well. I think The Witchery by S. Isabel is, if you like witches. I don't know why they had that come out in July. It should have come out in October. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why publishing does what they do, but Witchery is a good novel if you're into witches. I would say if you like short stories, anthologies, particularly by not just but by all different types of authors, and all different types of genres. I would say check out Patrice Caldwell has two different anthologies out. The first one is actually maybe three. I don't know. The most recent one is Eternally Yours,
Okay.
and that came out I want to say 2 months ago. And then the other one, I'm just trying to look up that one as well. Oh yes, A Phoenix First Must Burn. That one came out I want to say last year, and that's 16 short stories. Offhand, if not specifically Black authors, but just authors in general. If you like short stories, I highly recommend checking out Tor.com because they have some incredible short stories, and also Uncanny Magazine. Wow, I mean the caliber of talent on both of those sites. Those are pretty much the two main sites that I read my short stories. I love short stories. I feel like, especially as a writer, it helps you with your craft because if you can't tell a beginning, middle, and end under 10,000 words, how are you even going to do it with more words? So
Yeah.
definitely, if you want to practice your craft and you think you're a good writer, try writing a short story that actually makes sense in that small amount of time and is as compelling as it can possibly be, something that people will not forget. That's just a little side thing for writers. I don't know how many writers are listening, but yeah, definitely try your hand out some short stories for sure. And another thing is for short stories, Dahlia Adler. She is a Jewish author who has a book. She has a lot of books out. She self-published a number of her books, and then recently got a deal. I forget what the publisher is, but her book, Cool for the Summer, is obviously a play on Demi Lovato's song, Cool for the Summer. But that is, it's a really fun bisexual love story. Is it a love story? It's like a love triangle. I don't know. I read it, but it's hard to, it's really, it's fun. So it's cool for the summer. I mean, come on. So if you like if you want more bisexual stories, definitely check out her latest book, Going Bi-Coastal. I love that pun.
Yeah.
So yeah, but also I brought up Dahlia because she has, I want to say, 3 or 4 anthologies that are short stories, and each of them have a theme. So she has one anthology that's all retellings of Edgar Allan Poe short stories, and then another one is retellings of fairy tales. Another one is retellings of like a different Shakespeare play. So
Ooh.
if you like short stories, you definitely want to check out those anthologies that she edited for sure as well.
Okay.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
What was her name? You said Dahlia.
Dahlia Adler,
Thank you.
Adler.
I like how I'm writing this all down when I easily could just write it down when I edit.
You have it down twice. It's like, it's fine.
There you go.
Because then you can use like editing it as like
That's true.
confirmation.
I can check it off as I edit and be like, got this one.
Yeah.
Got this one.
Yeah, you're like double checking your work instead of starting it afresh.
But yeah, those are just books that have come out in like the last year ish. Let me see. Books that came out last year. That's what it was. The historical fiction that I was thinking of earlier, Angel of Greenwood by Randy Pink. That book, I read it, and I think it was one of my favorite books that I read last year. And I would say if you read that one, you also have to read, like if you liked what was that? Lovecraft Country. What?
Oh, Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft.
If you
Lovecraft
like
Country.
that, then I would say, I mean, this doesn't have any fantasy elements, but if you enjoy that, going down that historical road, Angel of Greenwood would be for you. And also, Brandy Colbert also came out with another book she came out with a book about Tulsa as well. The name of it, I believe the name of that book is Blackbirds in the Sky, something like that. I have not read it yet. It's on my shelf. But Brandy is another one who I adore her writing. I'm not really big on contemporary books, but there are certain authors who I will read when it comes to contemporary because they just grab me so well. Yeah, so those are my suggestions. Also, I would say those are my suggestions. Also,
I'm going to be reading for the next 15 years to get through all of these because they all sound really good. And it's like, oh gosh.
Yeah, like for poetry, I would also recommend Home is Not a Country by Safia I'm going to butcher her last name. I think it's El Hilo. And she's half Black, and I forget, she's middle I want to say Middle Eastern as well. And that book is about her identity. And it's so beautifully told. I just love it so much. It was a beautiful novel. I love poetry, so that one was an easy read for me. You'll find yourself. I find yourself when you read books written in verse, you kind of just sit down, and then the next thing you know, you're done. So I know that there's an upcoming book by Hannah Sawyer, and I believe the title has changed since she announced the book. As of now, it's called Call Him by Name, and that comes out next year.
Okay.
But I believe she has a new title for the book. But that comes out next year and is highly, highly anticipated. So definitely pre-order that.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, we have a very long list now.
I'm going to have to start reading. These like 3 pages a night is not going to cut it. I got to stay awake for more pages.
Great. I love like the Libby app. It's great because when I moved from LA, I still have I have LA County and LA, like there's 2 different LA Public Library and then LA County Library are 2 different systems.
Yeah.
I have both of those systems and the Austin system in my
That's
on
awesome.
my Libby. I would still have my home New Jersey, but once they realize that you've moved, they cut you off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta keep some semblance of decorum, I guess.
Right. But yeah, I highly recommend Libby for those, because the books that are written in verse, those audiobooks can be 2 to 4 hours. So those are quick listens. And when I'm on the plane, I'll listen to the audiobook, but I'll also have it on like 2 times speed while I read it as well, because I realize it sounds like a lot if you're bumping it up to 2 times, but when you read it, you're reading faster than you think you are.
Mhm.
So it actually ends up matching up with how fast you read anyway. So yeah, you can fly through those books, whether you're listening to them while you're practicing for your 10 millionth marathon.
Oh, you're talking about me. Yeah.
or when you're just cleaning around the house or whatever. So yeah, I love audiobooks. I am not paying for a single audiobook. No way. It's library all the way for me.
So you said Libby?
Love me a good public library.
Libby is the app?
Yes, Libby.
I was actually going to ask you what your preferred method of reading was. Was it audiobooks, Kindle, or paper books? But you just answered that it's all of the above.
Sometimes at the same time.
You know what? It really is. However, I noticed that, I mean, I've had COVID twice, and I have long COVID because I still have.
Oh.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
things.
Oh gosh.
But I realized, thank you, it's not easy.
No.
That,
You are a superwoman, truly.
I mean, I do try, and then other days I'm just like, I'm not doing it at all today. But I realized that my reading style has definitely changed. Like if I open up a book, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 books by my bed, and I could be done with all of them if I really wanted to be done with all of them. But when I open up the book and I look at the words, for some reason my brain cannot comprehend the words anymore. So I either have to be listening to the audiobook while I read, or I just listen to the audiobook by itself. Or if I'm reading it on my Kindle, I will turn Siri on so that she will read it to me. Yeah. So for some reason, I have to have that audio component now. I don't know why, but I cannot. It's not even about focusing. It's just about see. It feels like I can't. It feels like I can't see the words unless I'm. Yeah, because
Hearing them too.
I want to go to sleep.
Comprehension. I am dyslexic, so like what you are explaining is like how I see books. So like I very much understand where you're.
Okay.
I very much understand you right now.
It only has been like that in the last since I've gotten COVID. So I don't know. I've not heard of anybody else who has had COVID having these issues, but I also haven't sat around a room with people who are readers who have had COVID.
Yeah. Well, isn't that the thing about COVID though? It's just we're learning new things about it all the time. It's just doing these wacky things to people.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, I do I love myself a good audiobook. But the audiobooks, it's really hit or miss because some narrators are just trash, absolutely awful. And it's like, man, I really wanted to listen. There was this one book, I forget, I think it was The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh, and it's a vampire book. And I was like, yes, I want to read a vampire book. I'm so excited. And then I turned on the audiobook. It is just, first of all, I don't know what accent the narrator is doing, but it's atrocious. I'm like, I cannot do this. So I'm going to have to eventually just really physically read that book because there's no way I'm ever going to get through that audiobook. It's awful.
Oh no.
And I know the book is good because I read Renee's work before.
Yeah.
So I know that this is good. I just can't listen to the audiobook.
Yeah. I wonder like what that process is like for sort of like behind the scenes when they do the audiobook. How do they choose the person that does it?
Right. If you can't get the author, if it's not like an author of note, like how do they cast?
Yeah. Does the author have any say or input? Like what?
Some of them do. Some of them get sent snippets of like the 5 people who are runners up, and the editor will say, pick your top 3. Who do you want? And usually they'll take that into consideration. Sometimes they'll just ask to say that they asked, but they don't really care. But it really depends on the. Oh my God, my cat is in the way. It really depends on the specific editor's relationship with that person that they've sold the rights to, that company or whatever. So it can be where the author has a say. It can be where the author doesn't even know that their audiobook is being recorded or is even going to release until they find out and they're tagged on Twitter by a reader who said, "Oh, I just listened to the audiobook." So oh gosh, you never really know. It's really a crapshoot when it comes to that. And the worst is when the narrator doesn't even pronounce the author's name right.
Does that happen?
Oh no!
Stop.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite authors. I will never forget it. One of her books. It was one of her books, and then I just refused to listen to any audiobook of hers ever again. Tahada Mafi. Her name is hard to pronounce, I guess, if you don't pay attention to her pronouncing her name every time she's on a panel. Or
literally, you don't do your homework and
one job. Just do your homework. Go on YouTube. Google the author and for doing an interview, and then they'll pronounce their name for you, so that you don't have to make all these wrong guesses. And so the narrator, I don't remember which book it was, but the narrator completely trashed her name. And I was like, you know what? I can't. I'm done. I'm not doing this. So luckily, at that time, I was still very pre-COVID and very into physical books. So it was not a problem.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, that was just horrible. Like, if you can't pronounce the author's name right, you will never get me to listen to any of your audiobooks ever again, honestly.
Yeah. It's like a very low minimum bar
that
you would think could be easily cleared.
Yeah. Yeah. That reminds me of how, remember, I don't know if they still do that, but like on Facebook, you can actually say how to pronounce your name.
Yeah. Thank God. I mean, and honestly, that's great, but people will still say it wrong. Because you'll comment under someone's status, and they'll respond saying, "Ah ha ha," and say your name and spell it wrong. And your name is spelled right. It's right there. So I'm like, no matter what you do, someone's gonna mess it up.
Yeah. I get it. See, I thought I had problems with Glatfelter, but no, that's not. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh my God. Thank you so much for all of this. This is wonderful. Like, you've given us so much like recommendations and
such a good resource to go back to.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
When I inevitably forget many of these recommendations,
you can slow reader by the time I'm like ready for any of these books.
You can check the show notes; they'll be there.
Show notes.
And then please
bookmark them.
But go to the website though first and foremost.
Yes.
It's MELANININYA. So it looks like Melaninia.
Yes, it does.
You're welcome. My contribution, everyone. Speaking of contributions, please check out the Melanin NYA Patreon too. It's patreon.com/Melanin NYA. If you need that spelling, go back 25 seconds to where I just spelled out the website. Oh my goodness. You seriously, I need to like give you a super round of applause because this is an incredible website and the sheer amount, guys, if you're listening, go check it out. The sheer amount of just resources and work that was clearly put into this, like you took incredible. Pandemic project and you made it into like I bow down.
While the rest of us assholes were watching Tiger King, you were doing and like important.
Oh my goodness! So I am known as like the TV movie person in my family, and when I started working on this, I got kind of off track and a little left behind. And my sister is like, have you seen this? Did you see this? And then my mom was like, did you watch this? And I'm like, no. How are you guys watching it before me?
You're busy like
That really
birthing a literary entity.
Yeah, well, I'm catching up on everything now. I'm actually watching from scratch now, so I'm excited to.
Oh, I heard about that show. I heard it's very tear jerking. Is that true?
Well, I'm not the right person to ask because I never cry at anything. My sister cried at my sister and my mom, but I'm on the last episode, and I mean I can understand how people could cry.
Just
Yeah.
Well, we every time Jay's dad's here, we show him a TV show that he hasn't seen. So one time he was here, we did Ted Lasso. Another time he was here, we did what the hell is it called? We did The Flight Attendant both seasons when he was here back in June. This time we did the Sex Lives of College Girls because it's coming back next week.
so good. Can't wait.
Yeah, I was like, Jay, can we? Because we're looking through. I was like, what about this? And I like looked at them both. I'm like, are you guys like uncomfortable watching this TV show with each other? And they were like, no, we're fine. And I was like, awesome. So we were watching the first season, and it's just so delightful. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I can't wait for it to come back. I'm so excited.
I am so excited. It's so wonderful. I maintain all the great things I said about it the first time. It holds up. Good. That whole year later. And then Mythic Quest comes back on Friday, which I'm excited about as well. So
I'm not caught up on Mythic Quest. So.
I think I caught up last September. It was like this time of year last year that I caught up. Jay was already caught up, but the way that the third season ended, or second season ended, whatever season we're up to, the way that it ended, I'm curious to see, because I would have assumed that was a good place for like if the show wasn't picked up. So yeah, you know, like when shows write for not expecting to come back, and then they come back, and it's usually like hit or miss. So we'll see. Mm-hmm. But fingers crossed. I need some Poppy in my life. Anyway, thank you so much. Any last minute stuff you want to add? Do you want to plug like your socials, Twitter, Insta, anything like that?
Yeah, so for anybody who's still on Twitter that's chugging along for now, I'm at Melody Simpson. That's MELODYSIMPSON. And funny story, I'm also on Instagram at Melly Sims. That's MELLIESIMPS. I originally had Melody Simpson, and then something happened and everybody was leaving Instagram. This was years ago, and I was like, well, I guess I'll leave too.
Is it when Facebook bought them?
I think it might have been then. Okay. And so I left like stupidly and lost my name. Oh. And then I came back during the time when Scandal was on. And I never knew what Melly's name was. I didn't know if it was Millie or Melly because everybody pronounced it differently. And then I finally looked it up, and it was Melly. And then I also went further to look it up, and I realized that her real name was the character's real name was actually Melody. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Melly is a nickname for Melody. I didn't know that, and that's my name. So I took Melly from Scandal and put it in my username and completely forgot about it. And my friend is rewatching Scandal now, and like a week ago, she said, oh my God, her name is Melody. And I was like, that's where I got the username from. I completely completely forgot my own reference.
Oh my God. Do you still update Hollywood the Right Way?
I don't, and a lot of people have been giving me a lot of can I curse? Yeah, of course I can.
Welcome to the
broadcast.
That was very cute of you to ask.
Giving me a lot of shit about it, and so I need to get back to it. I haven't really blogged in like 2 years, so
what have you been doing in those 2 years, Melody?
Doesn't sound like you've been that busy to
me. So yeah, I'm going to get back to it in the new year. I'm excited about it.
Awesome. Oh my God. Well, thank you so much for giving us all this awesome information. Like, really
Thank
excited.
you. Thank you so much. It's always a blast to listen to y'all, and I'm excited to be here with you guys right now.
Yay! Well,
Yay.
hopefully we'll see you on the Zoom.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
please.
I guess
Yes,
I should plug
please.
my book coming out.
Oh my, what? She says it as an afterthought.
I
Well,
almost forgot. I too have I'm co-editing a book, an anthology of essays with my friend Nafiza Azad. It's called Writing in Color. It comes out next August 22nd, from Simon and Schuster. And so if you're a writer, an aspiring published writer, whether that's traditional or self-pub, you definitely want to pick up this book.
Awesome.
I completely forgot about that.
could you imagine being so prolific in the things you do that you forget that Simon and Schuster is publishing a book that you're writing? Like, what is that even like to be you? That's amazing.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. All right, ladies, let's take a quick commercial break. We will be back in a minute to get into some feedback. All right, we're back. We're ready to get into a little bit of feedback. We don't have too much today. The first bit of feedback is from Jessica, and Jessica says, depending how today goes, when I hear this on Friday, I will need one or the other feedback, so please read both.
Oh, God.
Feedback number 1. Hey, Jessica. The country did the right thing and things will be good for now. Time to keep fighting the good fight. Feedback number 2. Hey, Jessica. You have a bottle of wine in the fridge. Drink that tonight. P.S. ladies, thanks for keeping our spirits up.
Oh,
You're welcome.
Oh,
Jess.
man.
thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. That was a real
I think
journey.
that's one of my favorite things of feedback we've ever
I think so
received.
too.
Me too. Me too. Thank you so much. I feel like we all needed that.
Yeah. Choose your own adventure. Option 1, option 2, depending. I
I mean,
like
to
it.
be fair, you can drink the wine for like either
Yeah.
option. You can drink the wine, and I'm going to recommend you do celebratory or commiseratory.
Yeah.
It's a word. Just go with it.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck Schumer is going to be senator of New York for the 90th year in a row. I mean,
Yeah. You know?
something to celebrate.
Well, I mean, Colleen, you already saw some good things. So,
I saw some. I have also some other bad news. Stacey Abrams officially lost. Rand Paul was reelected.
Okay, so what's the good news? That's so bad.
A lot of Dems won governorships.
Okay.
fuck.
Dude, that hurts. That really hurts.
It does really hurt. But on Friday, when Jessica's listening to this, reaching for the bottle of wine, either way, it's gonna sting a little bit less. Vermont is sending its second ever Democrat to the Senate.
Really? Only its second ever Vermont?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does
So
feel
like
weird.
Bernie and
Well, don't forget it's Bernie.
Bernie and
Yeah, contrary
Wait,
to
is it-
popular belief, everyone, Vermont does have 2 senators. It's not just Bernie sucking up all of the oxygen all the time.
right.
And he's an independent. He just switches back and forth so he can run for president.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that is truly the epitome of privilege.
Yep.
Change parties on a whim. There is no definitive news yet in the North Carolina Senate race. I'm also skipping through it pretty quickly because it's just, I don't have the capacity to deal with that. Debbie Duckworth won re-election.
Oh, great. I love her.
Cool. All right, let's see.
I guess we'll see.
I guess
Oh, great.
we
So
will see
Stacey
what
Abrams will be
happens.
free to run for president. Great. Okay, good.
Yes, get that woman a cabinet position. Stats.
Seriously, clearly Georgia has not heard her policies because she's just like on point.
Yes. As of 2 minutes ago, Fetterman is currently leading, but only 50% of the results are in for that. And it looks like Josh Shapiro is most likely, he's the projected winner of governor in Pennsylvania.
Great.
Which is good because the dude he was running against was a horrible human being. Wasn't he running against the guy that was at January 6th? Doug Mastriano?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
You know what? There's so much bad news. It's hard to keep track of.
Yeah, but don't forget, Chuck Schumer. So,
bad.
you know,
back as
the election speech survives another 6 years.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll keep his job as a majority leader. So we'll
all right, let's move on. Finishing up, we have
I feel like there's a dangling joke about being in a heavy D area, but I'm gonna leave it on the floor.
Well, you know what?
Let's put that out to the dear sweet listeners.
That
See what you come back with. Drop it. Drop it in the comments.
Yeah, but you know what? We've got this work week in Andy's virginity.
So Andy writes in, this work week in Andy's virginity. Hey, Broads. In my attempt to update you last week, I forgot to wish the guys who will never listen to this show a happy No Nut November. Back on the job front, I think I'm almost done divvying out my PTO. I won't have a full week of work for the rest of the year.
Ooh, that's
hashtag the dream.
Yeah.
Which will obviously help me with the stress levels I've been dealing with. Also, my doctor's appointments last week went pretty well. The results weren't unexpected. A lot of things are high, but not beyond the help of diet and exercise. There are some other things I'll need to follow up on, but I guess that's to be expected for not going to the doctor for this long. Anyway, it looks like I'll be around for a while. Hashtag I'm with hers, Andy. Well, that's good.
Good news.
Very good news. I'm happy to hear that, Andy.
Me too.
Yes.
And
that whole not working a full week for the rest of the year. I took a half day also yesterday, and I was just like, why is this not the way that society is set up? I went to work from 8 to 12. I came home. I had enough time for lunch. I had my whole rest of my day. It was fucking wonderful. And then today I had to go back to work for a full day. What? This is so dumb.
Yeah.
And I was super productive for the 4 hours I was there.
I bet you were. Yeah. And we usually get an early dismissal. We're getting Veterans Day off this year for the first time. And normally we get an early dismissal the day before. So I sort of banked on getting that half day, and I made an appointment for a haircut. And it's I was going to organize the baby clothes because she is also off on Veterans Day. So not an actual holiday for me.
Nope.
So I was ready. And then they're not giving us the damn half day.
Oh. No way.
But here's the reason. Here, the rationale. They're well, because it's a new holiday to we're not going to give you the half day. It was just it was some non-excuse excuse.
Okay. Well, my office wasn't closed today, and it's not closed on Friday. Yeah.
Right. It's I should just be thankful for the day off, but I was really looking forward to that half
that's
day.
Fair.
I'm getting a haircut for the first time in 6 months.
God damn it.
I was excited.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is in the grand scheme of problems, this is a -7.
But still, come on.
Still, good times.
Fuck the 40-hour work week.
Yeah.
We will leave it at that. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate it. Big thanks to Melody for joining us today.
Yes.
I am excited. I'm going to have to go through the links when I put them in the show notes and add them to my patron Secret Santa wish list.
Oh.
Yeah.
Here's Colleen coming in hot with the good ideas.
Yeah. There we go. So
that good idea and do that for my Secret Santa wish list.
Yeah. Because before that, I had put Prince Harry's autobiography on my Secret Santa wish list, but it doesn't come. What? It's called Spare. That's genius, and he looks really attractive in the picture. But it doesn't come out until.
I need a judgment.
Why? I want to read it.
Okay.
I want to read it, but it doesn't come out until January. So.
Yeah. Okay. I do hate me some royals sometimes.
Yeah.
I like.
Well, I am Team Harry and Meghan all the way. Okay. So whatever.
I do miss the Queen.
Melody is nodding. She
Every
agrees
time
with me.
we read the Busy London Town book, and it's look, there's the Queen. I'm like, oh.
I don't miss the
Sandy's like, mm-mm.
No,
Yeah, no.
fuck the queen.
That's I don't know.
Fuck the monarchy. But I do like The Crown.
Which I've not seen. I'm going to wait till it's all over before I start watching it.
It's like...
I hear it's really good.
That's ambitious
It's
to
really
wait till
good.
it's all over. That's kind of ambitious. I would
It's
maybe just
fascinating.
go ahead and start now.
I got time. I'm going to wait. Look, waiting weekly for Alaska Daily, which isn't even that great of a show, is killing me. So...
Okay.
But you have a lot of Crown to get through already.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I still have to do
dense.
all of Better Call Saul, so I'll get there when I get there.
Okay.
At my own time. So speaking of, if you're a Jan Jack patron and not in the group but want to participate in the Secret Santa, send me a note and I will send you the link so you can participate in it. You have to sign up by November 23rd, the day before Thanksgiving. So, or maybe I set it for Thanksgiving. We're gonna draw it on either Thanksgiving or the day after. So, since we are off next week, let me give a advanced birthday shout out to Brian, the DP specialist, and Mandy, who both have birthdays next week, if I remember correctly.
Happy birthday.
So happy birthday.
Yes, Mandy does have a birthday next week. I remember because I was in Nashville once for her birthday for a work trip.
Oh yeah, that's
And
right.
I was still on Snapchat and I snapped about it and she was like, "Are you in Nashville?"
Yeah, they're back to back. They're the 17th and the 18th. So, happy birthday.
Happy.
Happy birthday.
If you'd like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/JaneJack. You go to janejack.com and click on the Become a Patron link. If you have any feedback for us tonight, if you have any feedback for Melody, she said that she would happily answer anything in any of the links that we post. But you can send us an email at thebroadcasters3@gmail.com or give us a call 331-276-2373. We look forward to hearing what you got. And we look forward to seeing you live on Zoom on November 22nd. The same Zoom link as always. If you were at the costume party, it's that one. If you've ever been to any of the Broad Topics, it's that link. Same link as last year's Broadsgiving. We look forward to seeing you then. And I think that we have landed so far on 3 movies that we're going to watch together for the holiday movie extravaganza, because we usually just kind of go willy-nilly. It's the Lindsay Lohan movie, which comes out this week. The Freddie Prinze Jr. one, which also comes out soon.
And then it comes out.
A Muppet Family Christmas, because Jay has never seen it, and I can't believe that. That's the Watch Out for the Icy Patch one, right?
Yep, mind the icy patch. And they just 20 minutes of Christmas carols at the end. I mean, really what more can you possibly want?
Yeah.
Also, Muppets Christmas Carol, they're adding the song back in.
They are adding the song back, and I saw
They're
that.
adding the song back in. Like, basically, it's going to be the best Christmas movie season ever.
In case anybody doesn't know
alone.
what we're talking about, there's a song in Muppet Christmas Carol called "The Love Is Gone," and they took it out, and it was a travesty.
sense.
It made no sense because, and it was also like the only like female like song. It was it was like, and it was beautiful and wonderful, and they cut it out, and now it's going back in. So all is right and restored in Christmas movie world.
Yep. It's a holiday miracle. Oh, and they're making a sequel to A Christmas Story, and it actually looks kind of good.
It does look kind of good, and it has.
I think I'm going to try and watch it.
The original Ralphie. As a
Yeah,
grown-up.
all the original kids.
Wow.
It's like the Friends, like they're all the original actors too.
Are they like 60? Like what? How is that even working?
They're probably in their 50s though, because the movie came out in the 80s.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to add that to the list too. All right. On that note, everybody, thank you to the patrons, especially the ones that contribute a certain level, and that would be Eckhart Rickner, Tack from Tokyo, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with a Plan, and Ed the Creepy Poopy Head Mailman. We also got a new shout-out level patron today named Jackson, and no, it is not Jack pretending to be a patron. I need to reach out to them and find out if they have a preferred nickname. So,
Jackson,
welcome.
welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you in 2 weeks. My name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.